The rumors and speculation that the Giants are going to be taking a quarterback in this upcoming draft and even trading up are really heating things up. And right now, all signs are pointing to the Giants are going to do just that. What is going on, guys? What is going on, 27 Squad? Welcome back in to another video. And listen, we're going to be talking some more Daniel Jones today. I know this is getting more and more insufferable as the days go on and as the draft approaches, but we're coming into the Combine. There's a press conference for the Combine. Joe Schoen spoke, and now it's heating things up. Mike Garafolo says something. Ranaan says something, and there was a question asked about a longtime Giants fan on the social space, and it kind of went viral. So first off, in this timeline, Ranaan from ESPN came on, I believe it was yesterday, and talked about how the Giants, if the opportunity presented itself, can move up for a quarterback in this upcoming draft. The Giants have the 6th overall pick right now, and we could be talking about either a trade to 3, a trade to even 1. I doubt it will be 2, but somewhere around 1 or 3 would probably be more likely.
Question, right? You have Daniel Jones now, 3 years, 3 injuries, right? 2 pretty serious neck injuries, and then he tore his ACL this year. He's still rehabbing from that. So when you're looking at it from the Giants' perspective, are general manager Joe Schoen and coach Brian Daboll willing to risk their professional careers with a quarterback with that injury history? The Giants have the number 6 overall pick and 2 second-rounders. They picked up one in the Leonard Williams trade midseason last year. They can use those to potentially look at quarterback. I've been told by multiple sources that the Giants, if the situation presents itself correctly, the Giants would be at least seriously willing to look at the quarterback position.
So you heard what Ranaan said. He said if the opportunity were to present itself, the Giants would heavily consider moving up for a quarterback in this draft. But guys, when we talk about rumors, when we talk about draft stuff and where a team is thinking and trying to get inside the mind of a GM, you have to remember politics and optics are a big part of being a general manager for a sports team. You don't want to let anyone know your next move. And I know that can be such an obvious thing, or it can be a thing where it's like, listen, everybody knows, but listen, if it doesn't come from the GM, nothing is for sure. All these rumors can just be smoke, okay? And even other teams know that. If it doesn't come from the GM, you'll never know. So you really have to dive in and make sense about what's being talked about. Now, if you hear that, and say this is true, that the Giants are thinking about trading up for a quarterback if the opportunity were to present itself, that obviously means they are desperate for a quarterback in this draft. You don't just willy-nilly say, hey, we're at 3 and Jaden Daniels is still available. Let's trade our first-round pick this year, swap picks this year, give up our 2 seconds and a first next year, and just let's go on from there. It's very clear that the Giants are looking deeply into the quarterback position, and it's not something they are nonchalant about. I know they don't like to talk about the quarterback position. You can hear Joe Schoen constantly talks about the Minnesota game constantly because that's the only thing he can hold on to, because I really think him and the organization are thinking about replacing Daniel Jones. I really think that. And like I said, when you talk about trading up for a premier position like quarterback, it's not just a willy-nilly thing. It's not like, hey, there's a quarterback available at 3. Let's go get him. No, this is something you talk about. This is something that even at 6, if a quarterback were to drop like Jaden Daniels, you're going to think about taking him strongly, and he may even be top on your board to take. The point I'm getting at is if you're willing to trade up for a quarterback, you're probably willing to take the quarterback at the position you're at, because the Giants aren't going to trade up for a Marvin Harrison Jr. They're just not. You wouldn't be willing to trade up for a position that you're not desperate to upgrade. And then today we have this Mike Garafolo quote.
What is the percent chance you foresee the Giants taking a quarterback in round 1 if somebody is there?
76.9%. No, we talked earlier.
That's pretty high.
That's pretty high.
Well, you said be specific. We talked earlier about the teams that are willing to come up, and I did mention you got a teams at 6. Yeah, 6. I know the Giants are at 6. They are a team that is trying, or at least taking the temperature, as Ryan Poles said, to see what the price is going to be to move up to 3, up to 2, up to 1. Now, look.
Now, you heard that made-up number of 76.9, and obviously that's not a real estimate. It's just pretty much Mike Garafolo saying that more than not, more than likely, the Giants are going to be getting a quarterback or even trading up in the draft to go get a quarterback. That really seems to be what his sources are telling him as well. So when it comes to Jordan Ranaan and Mike Garafolo, both of these guys, one from ESPN, the other from NFL Network, I mean, we just need Jay Glazer to be on this. It really just seems like the Giants are going to trade up for a quarterback in this draft. We are going to see something happen on draft night. And before we continue to our last clip that I want to talk about that happened today, I really want to get a good grasp about where this Giants fan base is headed. Obviously, we know Daniel Jones has been the most polarizing New York Giants player ever. I mean, ever. I don't know if there's ever been a more polarizing player that this team has had, where it's just so much of the fan base is either you love them or you don't like them. And obviously, there are the guys that are in the middle and indifferent, but man, both sides are really loud. And I really want to get a good grasp about the Daniel Jones, like, truthers out there. And I hate to call you guys that, because there are some logical fans who like Daniel Jones out there, but there are some delusional ones as well. There's even delusional ones on the other side too, so let's be completely fair. But I really want to get a good grasp about your thought process. I've seen on Twitter, people are so desperate to grasping at straws on why the Giants can't take a quarterback. When Caleb Williams was having his little loss, he was having a couple losses, the crying, the fingernail painting. A lot of Daniel Jones, like, truthers out there were out there saying that he's painting his nails. The Giants can't possibly get him. We shouldn't draft him because of that. And he's crying to his mom. We shouldn't draft him because of that. And he lost the game. He threw an interception. He had a bad throw. We shouldn't, it's constant excuses. And it really just seems like, and really think about what I'm saying here, it really seems like that side of the fan base is more concerned about winning with Daniel Jones than the Giants winning. They want to make sure the Giants are winning with Daniel Jones than making sure the Giants win. I think this is more geared toward Daniel Jones' success rather than the New York Giants' success. And listen, I'm not saying that the Giants can't be successful without Daniel Jones. I'm saying, why do we have to have success with Daniel Jones? If there is an easier option out there, if there is a better road to go down, why are we sticking with Daniel Jones? This team does not revolve around Daniel Jones. And listen, I think Daniel Jones is a better quarterback than Blake Bortles, so don't get me wrong when I explain this, but listen, when Blake Bortles went to an AFC championship game, which is a higher level and a higher stage of the season that Daniel Jones has gotten to, why didn't we hear Jacksonville Jaguars fans saying he led us to a AFC championship game? Why don't we throw money at him? And he is the truth. He is a franchise guy. Look what he's done for the team. I just don't get it. I mean, the stats aren't there. Even the wins aren't there. And we're all still banking on potential on a now 6th-year quarterback. And it doesn't make any sense to me. And I just want to reiterate my position to you guys and saying that I don't hate Daniel Jones. You guys know, you guys were on this channel last season. I was wanting him to come back this season. I wanted him to come back on a potential franchise tag, or you sign him for about a $30-35 million contract per year on an annual basis. He got the $40 million. I didn't agree with that. I even didn't agree with that when it happened, so I'm not flip-flopping here. So now that that's out of the way, and you guys know I do not hate Daniel Jones, but if I have an opportunity to reset the quarterback clock, I am going to do so. I cannot find not one con here in this situation where the Giants are at 6, having a potential opportunity to upgrade at the quarterback position, and not only will you possibly get a better prospect, which I think Caleb Williams, obviously, and potentially Jaden Daniels are better players right now than Daniel Jones is. Now, obviously, there has to be the being accustomed to the NFL, things like that. There is a little bit of seasoning that happens as a rookie progresses on, but as prospects, they are better than Daniel Jones. resetting the quarterback position is probably the most important part of this entire equation. It's not about Daniel Jones not being good, even though there is a lot of arguments for that. It's about resetting the quarterback. That is the reason why Caleb Williams is probably going to go number 1 overall with Justin Fields still on the Bears. Resetting the quarterback clock. Justin Fields is good, just not enough to get it done. They want to reset with a better quarterback. He's better, he's cheaper, he's younger. And when I talk about resetting the quarterback clock, when you look at the Giants situation, you got Daniel Jones there on his 6th year right now, making over $40 million annually as far as this year is concerned. I forgot what the exact number is for Jones, but you have a possible quarterback, whether you get Caleb, May, or Daniels, you have a guy that is possibly a better player, definitely a better prospect than, when Daniel Jones came out in the draft. He's younger, he's cheaper, and he is going to be 5 years with the team on a cheap contract. So there is no cons, no downside to doing this besides just not having Daniel Jones anymore. I just don't think people want to let go of that. And it's like, why are we so addicted to being mediocre?
You having an unnatural allegiance to losers is not like you.
So with that aside, let's go on to the clip that kind of inspired this video.
And speaking of knowing what you're getting, one of the things that you might actually just experience right now is somebody who calls into the Giants programming quite a bit. And he is on the line right now with a question as we go back to the phone lines. Charlie from Portland, Maine. Big Giants fan, longtime caller. Charlie, you're on the line with Giants GM Joe Schoen. What do you got?
This might be a little friendly fire. I know every time someone talks about Daniel Jones, they talk about the Minnesota game, but I can bring up 20 other games when he wasn't very good at all, like the Dallas game when it was 40-0, the Philadelphia divisional game when he was god-awful. What do you see in this guy? I don't get it, especially he's got 2 neck injuries, ACL, had concussions. How can you move on with this guy?
Thank you, Charlie.
Thanks for the call, Charlie.
No, I appreciate the question. What I see is a young man that has all the physical tools and athleticism to play the quarterback in the NFL. I think there's some circumstances that were out of his control, and some of that's on me in terms of bringing talent in on the offensive line or depth when injuries occur where he can have some success. And listen, Daniel's played well in some important games. And, again, we have faith in Daniel, and again, when he gets back healthy, the expectation is he'll be the starter, and we're going to continue to try to surround him with the best supporting cast that we can so he can have success.
Now, if you guys don't know who Charlie is, man, he is an absolute character. I knew about Charlie since, Big Blue Kickoff Live back in 2013, 2014 is when I first tuned in to Big Blue Kickoff Live. And that's a long time, man. They've been doing it for a long time. Shout out to everybody there. Lance Meadow, John Schmelk, Paul Dottino, Madeline Burke, who is fairly newer. But the 3 others that I mentioned are absolute OGs that have been part of the program for a while now. But Charlie has been a caller on that program for absolute years. They know who he is. You saw the warning that Madeline Burke gave, hey, Charlie's about to call in. Prepare yourself. But listen, I disagree a lot with what Charlie says. He says a lot of outlandish things, but I respect the question that he gave here. And it's not beat around the bush. It's not scared to ask a question because he's the GM of the Giants. He said, listen, this may be a little friendly fire here, but what do you like about Daniel Jones? What is it that keeps you? And you guys heard it. The answer was so cookie cutter, it was so vague, so basic that Shane couldn't really give an honest, real answer because I don't believe Joe Schoen believes Daniel Jones is their franchise quarterback. I think they were kind of backed into a corner last year and they signed him off the deal. I think they were a little scared. They're not perfect. I have a lot of gripes about Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen. I think they could be the answer for this team, but they're not perfect. I don't agree with the Daniel Jones signing. I believe they were backs against the wall. They were trying to get it out of the way, and they gave themselves an out in 2 years. So even though they're pretty much giving out a lot of money in the first 2 years. They're able to get out of it if they can next year, and I think that's what they were prepared for. Nobody in this organization really, the press conference are kind of pointless, man. I just watch them just to try to read body language. That's really what I try to do. And if you read Joe Schoen's body language, every time Daniel Jones is talked about, it's just a lot of copium. It's just a lot of cope. I honestly don't believe he believes everything he's saying. I think he's saying that to try to detract the fan base a little bit, try to subvert expectations, and I also believe that he is not letting anything through as far as what he wants to do in the draft because of other teams, a competitive sort of, I wouldn't say advantage, but a competitive sort of mask around what he wants to do here. Because like I said, the rumors may spread, everyone may know it, but it's never 100% confirmed unless you hear it from the horse's mouth, unless you hear it from the actual source. So I honestly believe the Giants are not only getting a quarterback, but they may even be trading up in this draft, whether it be to 3, hell, even 1, and get themselves a new franchise quarterback for the Giants. What do you guys think? And leave it in the comment section below. Do you guys think the Giants are going after a quarterback in this draft, or you think they're sticking with DJ because of that Minnesota game, baby? Let's go. With that being said, guys, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you guys like the video, subscribe if you guys are new, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Woo!